It's Warner Brothers' Too Big to Fail moment. Wednesday Addams goes down. Actors find hills to die on. Zoe Kravitz brings on the apocalypse with her footwear. And Kim Kardashian turns priest. All in the next edition of This Week Down the Rabbit Hole. Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole Volume 23, the vlog where we take Google trending topics and turn them into comedy gold. I'm your host, DT Critic, a man so funny I once made a cat laugh until it coughed up a hairball. I'm your fearless leader, your favorite critic and comedy connoisseur, the king of comedic commentary, and the writer of the ridiculous. This here 23 is going to be one wild ride, so buckle up and let's get down to it, shall we? Story number 1. DC Comics and Warner Brothers' Too Big to Fail moment. Comic book heroes, are they really too big to fail? Well, if the latest edition of Batgirl is any indication, the answer is a resounding no. But apparently Warner Brothers didn't get the memo, because they're still pushing forward with the Flash movie, despite all the craziness surrounding its production. Let's start with its leading man, Ezra Miller. This guy's been arrested multiple times, accused of assault, and even brainwashed an 18-year-old activist. I mean, who does that? And apparently, we haven't even scratched the surface of his troubled past. I heard he took the method acting to a whole new level by living as a duck for a month before filming Fantastic Beasts. Now, I don't know what James Gunn is thinking as the new head of the DC Universe, but maybe he's just trying to avoid canceling anyone after his own set of cancellations. Or maybe he's just really into ducks. Who knows? But with all the delays and cancellations of other DC movies, I think it's safe to say that The Flash is going down in flames faster than Howard the Duck. And we all know how well that turned out. Story number 2, Beetlejuice Part 2, the sequel, the redux, the catastrophic conclusion. Welcome back, folks, to Hollywood's greatest hits, again and again and again and again, where the sequels are as stale as the bread in a Subway sandwich. Today we're talking about the highly anticipated sequel to the 80s classic, Beetlejuice. That's right, folks, the moldy ghost with the most is back to haunt us once again. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, they decided to team him up with the Addams family. Beetlejuice, Beetle Addams? What's next, a crossover with the Casper the Friendly Ghost? Look, I loved the original Beetlejuice. It had style, wit, and Winona Ryder at her goth best. But do we really need a sequel 35 years later? What's next? Breakfast Club, the Nursing Home Edition? Or The Goonies, AARP Adventure? And don't even get me started on the Sex and the City reboot. I mean, what's next? Golden Girls Gone Wild? And to add insult to injury, they're casting the girl from Wednesday to star in it. Are you kidding me, Hollywood? Can't you come up with anything new? Or have you run out of ideas like a meth head with an empty pipe? But hey, who am I to judge? If people want to waste their hard-earned money on seeing a senior citizen Michael Keaton in a bad wig and tutu, then be my guest. I just hope that the sequel doesn't end up being as disappointing as the last season of Game of Thrones. Because let's face it, folks, once you've summoned Beetlejuice 3 times, you're basically asking for a poltergeist gangbang. So grab your popcorn, folks, and get ready for a sequel that's more forced than a family game night. Because if Hollywood has taught us anything, it's that there's no property too old, no franchise too dead, and no audience too gullible to be milked for all it's worth. So let's just hope that this sequel doesn't end up being as disappointing as a Tinder date. with a profile picture from 10 years ago. Story number 3. Bob Odenkirk goes the full Moses. Welcome to the wild world of Hollywood, where actors have more power than the directors, producers, and writers combined. It's like a game of musical chairs, except the actors get to decide which chair they want to sit on, and the writers are left standing with a sad tune playing in the background. But we have to give credit where credit is due. Bob Odenkirk, the Moses of the actors, has parted the Red Sea of Hollywood to stand up for what he believes in. And what was the cause that inspired him to be a modern-day Moses? Was it equal pay for all actors? Was it better working conditions for crew members? No. It was to avoid killing Carol Burnett. Now, we're not saying that we endorse killing Carol Burnett or any other beloved TV icon, but we do have to wonder, who thought it was a good idea to put Kill Carol Burnett in the script in the first place? That's like putting Kick a Puppy in a children's book. It's just not a good look. But fear not, Bob Odenkirk is here to save the day. Or at least Carol Burnett. He stood up for what he believed in and refused to kill America's sweetheart. We can only imagine what other impossible tasks he'll take on in the future. Maybe he'll refuse to play a character who eats broccoli or wears socks with sandals. In conclusion, we salute Bob Odenkirk for his heroic efforts in standing up for what's right, and we hope that Hollywood will take note and start putting more sensible things in the scripts, like saving puppies and eating ice cream. Story number 4. Apocalyptic sandals cause tremors around the globe. The world may be ending, folks, because apparently Zoe Kravitz wore flip-flops with an outfit, and the fashion police are losing their minds over it. I mean, forget the natural disasters, global warming, and political chaos. The real disaster is someone wearing comfortable shoes. Apparently, Harper's Bazaar, InStyle magazine, British Vogue, the Daily Mail, and Yahoo News all had a meltdown over Kravitz's choice of footwear. Yes, she wore black flip-flops with a minimalist outfit consisting of a t-shirt, pleated white leg trousers, and a beige trench coat. How dare she prioritize comfort over fashion? So let's flip the script and embrace the flip-flops. Let's slide our toes into those comfy, cheap pieces of footwear and show the world that we're not afraid to break fashion's sacred laws. And if the fashion police come knocking, just tell them Zoe Kravitz made you do it. But let's be real, folks. It's not like she's wearing Crocs. Now that would be a fashion apocalypse. At least flip-flops are somewhat acceptable, right? I mean, if we're going to nitpick about something in the midst of an actual apocalypse, let's make it something worth complaining about. Story number 5. Kardashian chooses priesthood. Move aside, boring old Pope Francis, because there's a new religious queen in town, Kim Kardashian. The reality TV star turned mogul has taken on a new role as a wedding officiant, and we're not talking about one of her own wedding extravaganzas. Nope, she's now certified to join people in holy matrimony, which begs the question, what can't this woman do? Between running her fashion line, makeup business, law studies, and being a full-time mom to her 4 kids, it's a mystery when Kim Kardashian found time to get ordained. Maybe she has a time turner like Hermione Granger, or maybe she's a witch. Who knows? Despite her numerous failed marriages, Kim's friends trusted her enough to officiate their big day, and she delivered, like a pro, I guess. The wedding photos are all over social media, and people are going nuts over them. Could it be the start of Kim's own church? Will it have its own reality TV show? And will she install a confession booth in every Sephora? So many questions, so little time. But let's not forget the real reason why Kim became a wedding officiant, to save her friendships from the dreaded, is he single conversation. We've all been there, I guess, and we all know how awkward it can get. So if you're in need of a wedding officiant who can also mix up a mean white Russian, hit up this Judas priest in the comments. Just don't expect him to wear a black dress like Kim's, because he's got more style than that. That's all she wrote for this edition of This Week Down the Rabbit Hole. We took on Kim Kardashian's divine career change to the latest Beetlejuice date with a goth girl, and just like a dead fish wrapped in newspaper rotting on your front door, this edition has certainly left an impression. But fear not, dear listeners, The Flash is still running despite bad press, proving that even if you're not well liked, you can still make a speedy getaway. This is DT Critic signing off, reminding you to never underestimate the power of a good pair of shoes and a questionable Hollywood sequel.